At first glance, the idea sounds almost poetic. Volcanoes are among the most destructive forces on Earth. Rivers of molten rock, temperatures hot enough to vaporize metal, and eruptions that erase landscapes in hours. If anything can truly destroy waste forever, surely a volcano can. The thought feels clean, final, and oddly satisfying. Toss humanity's garbage into Earth's fiery core and let nature handle the rest. But reality is far less cinematic. When you move beyond the imagery and examine the science, logistics, and environmental consequences, dumping trash into volcanoes quickly transforms from a clever solution into a deeply flawed and dangerous idea. The scale of the trash problem. Modern societies generate waste on a staggering scale. The United States alone produces roughly 250 million tons of municipal solid waste every year. And that figure doesn't even include industrial, construction, or hazardous waste. Globally, the numbers climb into the billions of tons annually. Any disposal method capable of handling waste on that scale must be reliable, continuous, safe, and environmentally controlled. Volcanoes, as it turns out, fail almost every one of those requirements. Volcanoes are rare, and usually in the wrong places. There are about 1,500 potentially active volcanoes worldwide, but only a fraction of them erupt frequently enough to even be considered for continuous disposal. Most are located far from major population centers, often in remote or protected regions. Transporting waste to these locations would be a logistical nightmare. Trash would need to be hauled across continents by trucks, trains, ships, or aircraft, each step adding cost, fuel consumption, and carbon emissions. Ironically, the environmental damage from transportation alone could outweigh any benefit of destroying the waste. And even if distance weren't an issue, there's a bigger problem. Not all volcanoes behave the same way. Not all volcanoes can hold lava lakes. The image most people imagine, a glowing lake of liquid magma calmly waiting to swallow trash, is surprisingly rare. Only certain shield volcanoes produce relatively steady lava lakes. These volcanoes erupt slowly and allow magma to pool at the surface for extended periods. Famous examples include volcanoes like Kilauea in Hawaii. Most volcanoes on Earth, however, are stratovolcanoes, steep, pressure-filled systems prone to violent, explosive eruptions. These volcanoes don't maintain open lava lakes. Instead, they trap gases and magma until the pressure becomes unbearable, resulting in sudden blasts of ash, rock, and molten material. In other words, they are exactly the wrong place to dump anything. Building waste infrastructure near a stratovolcano would be like constructing a landfill inside a ticking bomb. The immediate danger at the volcano's vent. Let's imagine for a moment that we find the perfect shield volcano and somehow transport waste to its summit. The danger doesn't stop there. The area around a volcanic vent is one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Temperatures soar, toxic gases like sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide fill the air, and molten rock can splash unpredictably. Even standing near the opening requires specialized protective equipment and constant monitoring. Now add heavy machinery, trucks, cranes, or conveyor systems trying to dump trash into that vent. One miscalculation, one sudden gas release, or one structural failure could result in catastrophic loss of life. This alone makes large-scale operations impractical. Lava lakes don't like being disturbed. Here's where the physics becomes truly dangerous. Lava lakes may look calm, but they are highly unstable systems. Beneath their crust, gases and molten rock are under constant pressure. Introducing something cold like trash can violently disrupt that balance. In a real-world experiment in Ethiopia, researchers once tossed a 30-kilogram bag of waste into a lava lake. The result was not quiet incineration, but explosive steam-driven eruptions. When cold material hits molten lava, it can instantly vaporize moisture and trapped gases, producing violent bursts. Now scale that up. Imagine dumping thousands or millions of tons of waste into a lava lake. The result wouldn't be disposal. It would be continuous explosions, rock ejections, and lava fountains shooting dozens of meters into the air. In Hawaii, even natural rock falls into lava lakes have sent molten material over 80 meters upward. A national or global trash dump would essentially turn a volcano into an unpredictable artillery cannon. Burning trash isn't clean, even in lava. Another misconception is that lava destroys everything. It doesn't. While organic materials would burn, many modern wastes contain metals, plastics, synthetic chemicals, and radioactive components that do not break down cleanly. Instead of disappearing, they can release toxic byproducts into the air or remain partially intact within the molten rock. Burning waste without filtration systems releases pollutants like dioxins, heavy metals, and acidic gases directly into the atmosphere. Modern incinerators are carefully engineered with scrubbers and filters to prevent exactly this problem. Volcanoes offer no such control. Even worse, materials that don't fully decompose could later be ejected during eruptions, scattering contaminated debris across surrounding ecosystems. What starts as a disposal method could end as widespread environmental contamination. The nuclear waste problem. Some might argue that volcanoes could at least solve the problem of nuclear waste. In reality, they make it worse. Radioactive materials are incredibly resilient. Many isotopes remain dangerous for thousands of years and are not neutralized by heat alone. Dumping nuclear waste into a volcano would not eliminate radiation. It would simply introduce radioactive material into a highly unstable geological system. An eruption could spread radioactive particles over vast areas, turning a localized disposal problem into an international disaster. This risk alone permanently disqualifies volcanoes as disposal sites for hazardous waste. The carbon footprint paradox. One of the goals of better waste management is reducing environmental harm. Dumping trash into volcanoes achieves the opposite. The fuel required to transport waste long distances, operate heavy machinery in extreme environments, and maintain safety systems would dramatically increase carbon emissions. Instead of reducing humanity's environmental footprint, this approach would expand it, often for no practical benefit. Ironically, if we're going to burn waste anyway, it makes far more sense to do so in controlled waste-to-energy facilities, where the heat can be captured and converted into electricity while filtering pollutants. Volcanoes offer heat, but none of the control. Why the idea keeps coming back. Despite all these flaws, the volcano idea persists because it taps into something psychological. Volcanoes feel final. They symbolize destruction without leftovers. In a world overwhelmed by waste, the fantasy of a natural force that can erase our mistakes is deeply appealing. But waste management isn't about erasing consequences. It's about managing systems responsibly. There is no shortcut around engineering, environmental protection, and long-term planning. Better alternatives already exist. And while they may lack the dramatic appeal of dumping trash into volcanoes, they are far more effective and sustainable in the real world. Advanced recycling systems reduce the need for new raw materials by recovering and reusing valuable components from waste, while waste-to-energy plants safely convert non-recyclable trash into usable electricity and heat under controlled conditions. At the same time, smarter material design is helping eliminate waste before it even exists by reducing packaging and replacing hard-to-recycle materials with simpler, reusable ones. Together, these efforts support circular economies where products and materials are kept in continuous use instead of being discarded, solving the waste problem without risking environmental disaster or turning Earth's most dangerous natural systems into dumping grounds. A fiery fantasy, not a solution. Dumping trash into volcanoes sounds clever until physics, chemistry, and logistics get involved. The scarcity of suitable volcanoes, extreme danger at the vent, explosive reactions, uncontrolled pollution, and massive carbon costs all point to the same conclusion. Volcanoes are not nature's garbage disposals. They are powerful, unpredictable systems that demand respect, not experimentation. Sometimes the most dramatic ideas are appealing precisely because they're simple. But real-world problems, especially ones as vast as global waste, require solutions that are boring, controlled, and carefully engineered. Fire may destroy, but responsibility sustains, and that's something no volcano can provide. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. we break down the big questions shaping our planet and our future, one fascinating story at a time.